Hello and welcome back. I'm Todd Kramer. We're talking with Dr. Rav Michael Lightman at the B'nai Baruch Center here in Israel, and we're just discovering a little bit about Kabbalah. And the discussion's been going quite well so far. We're talking about ego and the rise of ego, which is something that I guess Kabbalah is working hard to sort of understand better. Maybe I can just ask you, is that why Kabbalah is so popular these days?
Kabbalah, the authentic Kabbalah, is actually unpopular. Only, say, 1 or 2 million people around the world engage in it. But around Kabbalah, there are all these kinds of New Age mysticisms. You know, like they sell holy waters, red strings, or like all the celebrities engage in it.
Yeah, I have bath salts, I have tea at home, it's quite nice, but it hasn't really helped me.
That's right, because it has nothing to do with Kabbalah.
It says Kabbalah on it, though. But why is it in the media? Why is it being labeled?
Because this wisdom is now beginning to be revealed. It was concealed over the past 2,000 years. From 2,000 years ago, when people lived, the wisdom of Kabbalah stopped. Why? Because they fell from the love of others to hatred to others. And if you're in hatred to others, you do not feel the spiritual world, you do not feel the wisdom of Kabbalah. Therefore, you cannot know what it's about. You read the books, and you'll have no idea what it's talking about, because you're not in the same state, in the same sensations the books talk about. You won't be able to understand the people who wrote it. And thus, 2,000 years have gone by, and we've reached a state that we've had enough of being under this ego for the past 2,000 years, and we are returning to the state that we're helpless, we don't know what to do with ourselves. And then the wisdom of Kabbalah has come back now, and it can help us reach that very same degree we were once, and even more than that. I will help you rise above the ego.
So we had Kabbalah, then ego appears, and ego, as you say, is a good thing. It brings us to some kind of new awareness about something.
Yes.
Good and good versus evil, something like this.
Okay, I see you caught on to that.
Yeah, I'm starting to get the hang of it. Okay. So then Kabbalah disappears when the ego comes. Kabbalah goes away, ego's here, 2,000 years of development of the ego.
That's right.
And now we're at the end of this development, and so Kabbalah reappears.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Till now, correct.
Quick study. Okay.
Very clever.
But this is still a Jewish thing.
No. No.
I mean, it's not religion, but it's still Judaic, or it's in Hebrew. I mean, I've seen some of the books here. I see. You speak
Okay, so let's solve this problem. Once we were all in Babylon. Okay. And there we were all together. There were no nations. There was nothing. There was only one nation, the Babylonians.
A tribe. Yeah.
And then a person called Abraham arose, one of them, one of the people of Babylon, and he started explaining them why they suddenly started hating each other, why they have a hard time getting by, why they suddenly want to build a tower up to the sky, why many languages were formed, no one wants to communicate with another. This ego started growing, and Abraham started explaining them what's happening here. And he explained to them that now we have to return to be as we were brothers.
Abraham was the first to recognize that the ego was developing?
Yes, he was one of the Babylonian priests. He was very known.
I see.
To such an extent that he used to make idols, and everyone bought these idols, meaning they felt that he has a special force in him. And he explained to them this ego that we're suddenly beginning to discover by not getting by having divorces, by fighting, by building a tower up to the heavens. All that's being revealed is because we're in this increasing ego. And this ego is purposely increasing, purposely rising, in order for us to be able to rise above it. If the ego rises and we rise above it, meaning just in spite of the rejection, we'll be able to rise above it, and we'll be able to reach connection above it, then by that, above this ego, we'll be able to actually reach the heavens. We'll begin to feel what the upper force is, what nature is, what the Creator is. And that's what he started teaching the Babylonians. Some of them caught on to this idea, and they joined him. He was also a known man before that. Anyway, they went with him. They left Babylon together, and they went to Canaan, which is the land of Israel, this place here. And they called themselves Israel. Yashar-El in Hebrew means straight to the Creator, according to their tendency, since what do they want? They want to connect and go directly to God.
And they spoke Hebrew at this time.
Yes, there in Babylon, they spoke Hebrew and Aramaic. Very similar languages.
Those are similar languages, yeah, okay.
It's the same letters, but slightly different expression.
And that's why the material today is in Hebrew. Still.
No, all the materials in the wisdom of Kabbalah are written in, well, most of the materials, all the Zohar, for example, is written in Aramaic. That's the language in which they spoke in Babylon.
Okay, I'm not familiar with the Zohar, but that's one of the books. That's some of the material that you study from. Yeah. What is the Zohar briefly?
The Zohar is the primary book in the wisdom of Kabbalah. It's the foundation which was written 2,000 years ago. And also the regular Talmud, which everyone knows what it is. You know, it's a known name, Talmud.
Talmud, yeah.
It's also all written in Aramaic, not in Hebrew. So what I'm trying to say here, Judaism, the people of Israel, is according to a person's ideological tendency, because they want to reach revelation of godliness, because they want to rise above the ego to feel the spiritual world, and that's actually why they're called Israel. It's not a tribe or something. Anyone who joins this same tendency, Yashar-El, straight to the Creator, is called a Yehudi, and he's called Israel according to his tendency.
This is sort of the point of my question then. Is Kabbalah for everyone? Do I have to be Jewish? Do I have to live in Israel?
Hold on. Let's say an Italian wants to study the wisdom of Kabbalah. He wants to be in it. Then he can, no problem at all, regardless of which nation he's from.
Let me take you this way then, if I can. A Christian housewife from Middle America is a little bit lost. She's looking for answers to the meaning of life. She sees you.
Yes.
I've seen your videos. I've seen some of the things. I've seen some of the material. But I see you. I don't identify with you myself. And I don't think she would either. You've got the yarmulke. You speak Hebrew, Russian as well. But how is she going to get up out of where she lives, her comfort zone, come to Israel, and sit here and read your books in Hebrew and connect to Kabbalah? So it seems like this is somewhat closed. I have to be...
No. You're asking something else. How can we reach her? How can she reach us? How will we be able to be in contact? It's very simple. All of our books today, all of the true Kabbalah, good, easy, simple books, which is suitable for everyone, we have it in English as well, in all languages. Besides that, wherever she lives in America, we have our learning centers. We have teachers who aren't necessarily Jewish. We have hundreds of thousands who are studying seriously and know the wisdom of Kabbalah.
Hundreds of thousands here in Israel.
No. I'm speaking about America.
In America?
In America, sure.
They study in English?
Yes, we have big centers in America. People study there. Study centers, we have books, everything. and all in English.
But they have to convert to Judaism or something to be this, don't they? Or they have to somehow...
No, what are you talking about? Of course not. Of course, you can stay Christian or Muslim, whatever you want. It is unrelated.
Whoa, wait. I can go to church on Sunday and study Kabbalah.
Of course. Of course.
On Sunday.
Of course you can. No,
They
no
don't
problem.
conflict?
There's
I'm
no
not going to
conflict.
make Jesus or Muhammad or Buddha mad if I start studying Kabbalah. I don't... No. How's that? I have a religion and I...
Because we need to understand, all of the religions, including Judaism, started 2,000 years ago,
Before other...
specifically after the nation of Israel fell from the spiritual level, after feeling the Creator, the upper force. It fell to this corporeal level. It lost all of its sensation of the spiritual world. And what remained are all these habits, these traditions. That is called Judaism. And out of all that was left, later on, Christianity developed, and then 700 years later or so, the Islam developed.
Islam. So this is just a cultural side effect of some sort of spiritual fall.
Yes, of the fall. Of that spiritual fall. And the wisdom of Kabbalah preceded everything, therefore it treats everyone equally. It doesn't treat different nations or countries or religions differently, not at all.
It's open to everyone. You're telling me now that Kabbalah is open to all. I don't have to be over 40, I don't have to be Jewish, I don't have to wear this.
Not at all.
Because that's all those things you are, so I say...
We've already been here for 20 years, and you can see it according to our students, according to our friends in all continents. But in addition, the wisdom of Kabbalah says that the whole world's tendency, the world has to rise to this degree, as we are now discovering that we've reached this final ego, that we cannot advance anymore. We've reached the top. And from now we have two possibilities. We'll either start banging our heads in this ceiling and we'll have great troubles, wars, climate problems, or we'll learn how to pass through this ceiling, how to break through to the spiritual world. And that's why it's being revealed. So it treats all of humanity equally, completely equally, like in Babylon. It treats everyone like we're still in that same Babylon.
Okay. So let's say I'm interested. And before I talk about how we can get through that ceiling, I'm interested. I want to get involved a bit. How much does it cost? What do I got to do? It's expensive.
Nothing.
I got to take lessons. I got to study. What I got to move. I got to come here, live with you somewhere in a big house, or I got to buy all your books. Well, you're laughing, but I don't.
What did they demand from you in university when you studied?
A lot of money.
Oh, that's right. No, here it doesn't work that way. Here we have a virtual university. You go into our website.
What does that cost?
You enter with no fees. You get all of our books for free. If you want to buy a book, you can, although you can download any book you like for free. All the books, all the Kabbalah sources are there.
I thought you had to pay. I thought it was quite expensive.
No, nothing. You can study. You have teachers, virtual teachers. You have times that you can connect and listen to lectures and ask questions. And if you don't want to buy books, you only want to get them online, it doesn't cost you a dime, nothing.
All the material is free. If I want to study,
As much as you want. You can study for 10, 20 years.
what's the catch?
There is none.
Come on, there's got to be. I mean, you're giving away something that...
No, there's no catch here. But we're people that believe that the correction of the world depends on it, of making this world a better place. We do collect money from ourselves, meaning those who are in the wisdom of Kabbalah and understand that it can bring humanity goodness, then out of our own love, out of our transformation from hatred, from all these battles between human beings, to a desire to help everyone, to love, then we collect, each one as much as he's capable of, and he contributes to the general fund, and by that we can maintain this entire system of study. Everyone who teaches does it for free. Anyone who participates and anyone who contributes does it for free. Everything's free because these people want the correction of the world. They want to make the world a better place.
You got a nice house? You got a big car? You, yourself.
I have an apartment, of course, but a car, I don't have. I don't need one. I'm all the time in one place.
I don't mean to pressure you here, but I'm trying to understand, because I know that there's some times I've heard that Kabbalah is quite expensive. If you want to study, it's quite an effort. So
No. That is completely untrue. I don't know where you heard that from. There could be such kind of people. I know there is that in America who make profit from Kabbalah.
Yeah, that this is quite a big moneymaker, I think. So, okay, the cost is nothing in terms of financial.
Zero. Simply zero. You don't have to pay anything to study Kabbalah.
I have to put some effort myself, though.
Ah, exactly. That, of course. You want to study, you want to attain something. You're going to have to put in effort.
How long do I have to do that before I go to heaven, before I reach some kind of spiritual attainment here?
In a few years, you'll already be able to understand the general plan of nature. A few years.
I thought I was going to catch you with that question, because
Why?
It seems that there was no answer to it. In a few years.
No, what I said is that in a few years, you'll begin to receive an answer to how everything is structured, according to which formula, according to which program nature works, or the Creator, which is the same. And then you begin to learn how to use it correctly, how to use your forces correctly, and nature's forces. And only from that point and onwards, you begin to be the one who attains the purpose. You begin to walk towards it. Let's say, under 2-3 years of study, I don't think a person can really understand what it's talking about. And I'm telling you seriously. I'm not selling you magic from today to the next day and you'll already be flying up in the skies and doing whatever you want. No. You have to be aware. You have to learn nature, since you're going to rise above it. Therefore, this is something serious. Within a year or two, and actually the times are getting shorter because we're becoming more sophisticated, people are wiser, more suitable for the wisdom of Kabbalah. Anyway, after that, you have to work on yourself to change your nature in accordance to the spiritual nature in order to pass through this ceiling towards the spiritual world. And that takes another few years. Say like in university.
Because you're talking about ego, and you're saying that the ego is advancing, and what we found through this advancement is that we're not satisfied, or we're not getting stuff that we want anymore. And those who realize that they're not satisfied, they're taking their ego and they're turning towards spirituality, Kabbalah.
Yes.
So, but there's still that ego is still there, because if I turn to Kabbalah, I'm still looking for something. I want some benefit from this.
Of course, and even more so. If you first used your ego in this world, you want to use it even more now. You want to open up the spiritual world. You want to have two worlds. You want all the Creator to be revealed to you. You want to understand Him. You want to know Him. You want to acquire the whole purpose of creation. Of course, you come to wisdom of Kabbalah with an even greater ego. But that's not a bad thing. And the ego is good. The question is how you use it. That's the question. This urge to catch onto everything, to know everything, to feel everything, that's good. That means you're a great person, as long as you don't use it to harm anyone else. That's the thing about it. If you take all of your desires and you direct it in order to open up the world, to rise. That's good, as long as it's not aimed towards the direction of wanting to harm others.
But it's okay if I still want something from this. I'm looking for benefit. I'm looking to receive something.
Yes, of course. Go ahead. What, isn't knowledge profit? Of course. I want knowledge and health and happiness and luck. I want everything, as long as it doesn't harm the others. And then I am advancing correctly. The wisdom of Kabbalah says, in general, our entire purpose is to reach pleasure, an infinite pleasure. At the end, we need to have a very large ego. It's always a bit perplexing.
This is a little bit strange. So wait, but now the ego is it's a tool. It's an engine. And before this,
that's right. Exactly, a motor. Exactly.
Okay. And before this time, it was pushing us, driving us, controlling us. And through Kabbalah, we're somehow able to control it or ride it, use it to
navigate it correctly to what we should.
To navigate.
To what's worth the while. Because a person just wastes his life and doesn't get anything at the end of it. So this wisdom tells us, this is where you should advance to. This is what you should acquire. And that itself is a sublime goal. Perfection, eternity, everything, eternal life. And a limitless sensation. But most importantly, it has to be aimed towards connection and love with everyone.
So now the goal is changing.
And that's why we're developing egoistically. Because the moment I use my ego to attain the spiritual goal, and not to harm others, to be more, to control the others and so on, if I'm not using it for that, then I'm given a greater and greater ego, and then I can develop in spirituality.
This is a quite fascinating conversation. We're out of time for this episode. We're going to come back. We're going to talk more with Rav Dr. Michael Lightman. Please join us again. Thank you.